Kaiser Impact, the bicycle kick one. I know there's a few of these. This was a cool panel. So we're going to have to take some liberties with the boot and, you know, the ball and stuff. Because, like, there's a lot of energy in the drawing. And there's, like, brush splatters and everything. But we're using pens and pencils. So go head right down here. I'll probably zoom. His boot goes that way. He has to be, like, I don't know. Physically, he's very flexible in the hips. But it's crazy. So zoom into the head. Get that first. Probably get his body. Boot, knee, and then ball. Right, let's try. He's frowning aggressively, so let's do that first. Check mark. Kind of that shape, like a fishing hook kind of thing. There's a little bit that we can use to color. Like a little area just there of his eyebrow that's sort of left. And then we've got like more frowning bump areas. There's all veins and stuff as well, but that's his brow, and the other eyebrow then goes up, like more vertical this way because his head is kind of turned away, turned diagonally this way, you know, so the central line of his head is there. Bum, bum. But just a little area that we can color blonde in there. Okay, so that's like the brow. Now, eyes. So he has massive eyelashes. So we'll go with a spike there. And then it comes this way. And there's two sections to Kaiser's eyes, right? So there's like a hook down here. And this comes back over to his tear duct. So that's your general shape, but he's got the dark black section and then he has the outline, you know, the colored part. So we'll do the black first, very thick. Eyelashes. The spike here. Typical of Blue Lock. And then he has that other one. So it's like a red color or pink color. I'm not sure which, but it changes. I've seen it colored lots of different things. But it's basically just like another spike. And then eyelid line stuff there. So he's looking like at us. So we've got like a large iris. With a thin lens. Okay. And there could be some more sort of wrinkles and stuff here. So his other eye follows the sort of eyebrow line, right? So top of it sort of spikes up there. Down. Like that. We just have to darken it a bit. Like make it a bit thicker. Right? And then he has that extra sort of colored spike around here. Right? And then his other eye, the iris, the circle in here. he's got an eyelid line there that cuts it off a bit. And then that cat-like. Oh, you like that? Okay, those are his eyes. Not bad. So he has a vein here. Right, we'll try his nose. So it just like hooks there. Down, maybe a nostril on that side. And then there. Maybe like a couple of wrinkles just side of the nose. And then he's gritting his teeth, right? So mouth is kind of open. So it goes, curves across the top lip. And then comes down around. It's like a rectangular sort of box. And then teeth inside. So they do sort of the gum line and everything. So we'll go there. And then V. And then some gums. Top and bottom. So just black. You can do them pink if you want. There's kind of a shadow in there. Okay. So his chin coming around. And jaw. Alright, so then the jaw changes direction, sort of here. Goes up towards his sideburns, like his hair, like a V there. No V on this side because the hair blows this way. So it kind of goes that way. So we got like some hair spikes just coming out there, and the other one curves around the other way. So his hairline just kind of zigzagging to a V in the middle. And he's got a bit of a hair spike coming down this way. And then we go down like that. Right, and then the ear. There. And then I think we can see his ear on this side as well. Maybe an ear line or two. And then the rest of his hair. So he's like, it's all been blown back this way, hanging down here. So we'll just add hair spikes. I'll kind of simplify them a bit. So it's always like shark fin sort of things. Of course, the manga artists can add sort of squares, like little things like that sometimes. And then he's long parts that sort of hang down. That way. And the rest kind of spikes around. So we'll just go so I'm going to add like a little bit less than what's in the actual manga, maybe, just to make it a bit simpler for us. And this has sort of textures that go all in here. Okay. So that's his head, right? Chest and torso. So where's his arm? Right, so we'll go. So I think, like coming down from his hair, right? We've got like roughly his shoulder, I think, there. And then his chest comes down that way. And then his other shoulder is like here. And his arm goes off that way. This arm, one arm goes back there. This one comes down here, right? So it's kind of... Right, and his other chest muscle is like there. So that's like the center of his chest. And his torso is like going this way. So it goes... Where's that jersey? So it's like bumping, right? So it's always like folding and bumping down. And kind of around here, right? So it gets like smaller as it goes this way because of perspective, right? So anything going away from the viewer gets smaller, coming towards us gets bigger. So the boot is going to be huge. And then his arm, I think it goes off the page. Up here somewhere, right? So you might have, where would the back of it be? It's very dark in there. I'm guessing this is his arm anyway. Okay. So let's do the lines on the jersey that we can see anyway. So like he's got the white detail here first. It's like a V coming across his chest. Goes into his armpit. Then I think it just goes around his collar here. It's white there anyway. So I'm not sure what's... That might be skin, but I'm not too sure. And then I think there's some collar here. So that could be collar or neck. Might be a bit more hair here. Right, we'll do just the shape for the crest. And then there is a white line that runs down his side body. It's always bumping because of all the, you know, the folds on the jersey being pulled across. There's another white one bumping over these folds. There. And we just, I'll do the sword, so the bee munching. This word might get me in trouble on YouTube, so I'll just draw in the sword. And then of course there's text there, and you can do that if you want. Okay, so we'll do the small leg. So his shorts are like here, right? And his knee is bent over what I can see of it anyway. So that's the end of his shorts. There's a 10 here. There could be some like fold lines here. Now, so that's the bent knee. So the bent knee sort of kneecap is just drawn kind of like just roughly like that. And I think there could be a boot there, but there's lots of stuff sort of in the way. So we'll leave it as a bent knee maybe, because there's lots of like energy and stuff there. You know, lots of like impact, ink and stuff. So the other one is like extremely foreshortened. So what that means is it's coming towards us, right? And it looks way bigger because it's so close to us. And because it's like hypermobile in his hip or something, it's like, it's crazy looking, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess we have like his hip and stuff here. Again, it looks really short, so like here, and it's drawn real rough, so you can draw it real rough if you want. Like, you don't have to get super particular with it. And then like we get his calf muscle somewhere here, like the top of his sock, and this seems to like go around to his boot. I think that's his, maybe that's his leg. Okay, so it's crazy looking, but that's the way it is. Like there's all energy and details and stuff on all this. So the rest of this portion is his football boot, the base plate of the football boot, right? And there's like, so his heel, right? It's kind of here, but like this is like just, there's like energy just coming out of it, right? So it's like on fire kind of. And then, so this goes around the heel. And then around the top, going that way. So this wavy situation, and it could have like the edge of the boot, you know. It's not clear, that could be a lace either. So what I'll do is this, and then bring that into there. I think that could be a lace, or the side of the boot. But I'll do this, right? It could just be like force, you know, stuff as well. So we're taking liberties here, right? And this comes down. Okay, so that's the kind of shape we're talking about. And then there might be like the side of his foot just sort of in here. And it's all, you know, it's all roughly drawn, so there's loads of details and lines and stuff all in here, like. So feel free to do as much of that as you'd like. We'll just try and get the basic structure in. So, stud 1, 2, and 4 on the heel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just kind of one in the middle there on its own. And then, yeah, so then we got to make these kind of a little bit like three-dimensional. So it's got like little bits just connecting. Again, this is all done very roughly. So we're trying to draw it a bit cleaner than what it is even. Just like an edge line here. Okay, there's all like probably lines and stuff in here. Right, we keep going because I'll just add some of these. Another one there, around here. Right, and then there is these. Like that. And then of course there's like lots of details and energy and all stuff there. Ball. So it's huge, right? It goes like all the way down to there, all the way from here. So if you have like a plate or a stencil or something that was big enough, that's the whole football, right? And I'm gonna like scratch up just this line, right? Just to make it look like it's been blasted, kind of. Now we won't be able to do as much of that he does because he uses like brushes and all sorts of stuff. But there is, maybe we could do like the impact point, which I think is where, like here. So it's like it's just a big star, you know, kind of like lots of like around a central circle, probably where the foot hit the ball back here somewhere. There's like lots of dots and spikes and stuff like this, you know, and like the more energy you sort of put into it, the better it'll look. Like the more sort of mental you do, you gotta go crazy, right? Like, and he does way more than I can even do, obviously, because he's a pro. I guess I'm a pro now, but not like this. There are limits. He probably has a couple of people working for him. It's just little old me here. Right, so again, as much of that as you want to do. It's like a sun, like a crazy. And we will draw the sort of football thingies, the pads, because it would make sense that we could see those. And they're way bigger than what we normally draw. Where does that go? Question mark. That way. Maybe that should go that way. Something else across there, maybe. Okay, best I could do. Kaiser Impact, bicycle. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.